What if I told you there's a way to buy stocks in a sell-off and potentially make massive gains while doing it? Today we're diving deep into one of the most potent yet underutilized strategies in trading, buying pullbacks. We'll discuss exactly how professional swing traders use this contrarian approach to generate exceptional returns. If you are averse to buying stocks at breakouts, this strategy is really for you. Let me start with a fundamental truth about markets. All great winning stocks pull back. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Even the biggest winners, stocks that go up 200, 500 and even 1000%, they all experience pullbacks along the way. So here's the million-dollar question. If pullbacks are normal and expected, why do most traders only talk about selling during these periods? Why not take advantage of these temporary weaknesses to add to winning positions or initiate new ones? This is where pullback trading comes in. Instead of fighting the natural rhythm of the market, you work with it. But here's the critical part, and this is where most people mess up. We're not just buying any pullback. We're buying pullbacks in the context of a strong uptrend. There's a massive difference between buying weakness in a strong stock versus buying weakness in a weak stock. Before we dive into the specific setups, let me give you the non-negotiable rules for pullback trading. These aren't suggestions, they're requirements. Rule number 1. The general market must be in a defined uptrend. You cannot successfully buy pullbacks when the overall market is trending down or topping out. The market environment needs to be strong and forgiving. I use a 10/20 EMA crossover to determine this phase of the market, which you can learn from this video on my channel. Rule number 2. Your stock must also be in an uptrend. We define this as higher highs and higher lows, supported by a rising 50-day moving average. Yes, we're buying weakness, but we're buying weakness in the context of strength. Rule number 3. You must have conviction in the stock. When you're buying while others are selling, you need mental fortitude. This comes from understanding the traits of the stock that made it to your watch list and ultimately a trading candidate. Those traits could be technical strength, momentum, or fundamentals. Rule number 4. The stock needs good liquidity and institutional sponsorship. You want stocks that institutions can accumulate because you're relying on smart money to support these stocks at key levels. Rule number 5. You must be able to define your risk. Every pullback trade needs a clear stop-loss level where you'll admit that you're wrong and exit the position. Now let's talk about the actual setups. There are several key support levels where pullbacks tend to find buyers. First, we have moving averages. You can use the 20-week EMA on the weekly chart, which is my approach. There too, I look for a confirmed reversal or a breakout from a lateral consolidation near the moving average. These setups are rare and take their time to form, but they provide decent entry points and objective stop-loss levels, making it easier for me to follow rules and stay disciplined. However, for traders looking for a more active approach to trade pullbacks, they can use daily charts with associated moving averages. Let's see the best ones you can use to trade pullbacks. The 10-day moving average is great for keeping you in strong trending stocks, but it's usually too close to the current price for substantial pullback entries. The 21-day exponential moving average is a sweet spot. It often contains a stock's primary advance and gives you pullbacks in the 10 to 20% range, exactly what we're looking for. Then there's the classic 50-day moving average. This is where almost all big winners will visit multiple times during major runs. The first pullback to the 50-day is often a high probability buying opportunity. You can also use the tops of prior consolidations as support levels. When a stock breaks out of a sideways pattern, that breakout level often becomes support on future pullbacks. Here's the key insight. We're looking for pullbacks of roughly 10 to 20% from recent highs. This is substantial enough to shake out weak holders, but not so deep that it signals a major trend change. Now, there are several ways to enter pullback trades, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. Method 1. Wait for an upside reversal. This is the safest approach. You wait for the stock to show supporting action, typically a day where it opens weak but closes strong, preferably on increased volume. The advantage is that you're seeing actual buying interest. The disadvantage is that you might miss opportunities if the reversal doesn't come. Method 2. Buy after support, like a moving average, is confirmed. Wait for the stock to bounce off support and start moving higher before entering. This gives you more confirmation, but potentially a worse entry price. Method 3. You could look for reversal candles on the weekly chart. As a week is a long enough time for buyers to take control in a strong stock, bullish candlesticks like engulfing or hammer candles can give you a good entry point. The key with any of these methods is patience. True pullbacks take time, usually 4 to 8 trading days, and sometimes weeks. Don't get excited and jump in too early. Now let's talk about one of the most critical aspects of pullback trading: where exactly to place your stop loss once you enter the trade. If you bought on an upside reversal, including candlesticks, your stop loss goes just below the intraday or weekly low of that reversal day/week. This makes perfect sense. If the stock breaks below the low of the day/week that showed supporting action, then that support has clearly failed. You have two choices when the stock hits your stop level. You can sell immediately when it breaks that intraday or weekly low, or you can wait until the end of the day/week to see if it's just a temporary shakeout. Because many times, what looks like a breakdown during the day turns out to be just another shakeout of weak holders. But this requires more risk tolerance and isn't for everyone. If you bought as the stock was approaching support, let's say the 50-day moving average, then your stop loss would be a decisive close below that support level. Not just a quick dip below it, but a clear, decisive break. Here's a key point. If a stock is going to hold support and bounce, it should do so relatively quickly. If you see the stock break your support level and then continue to deteriorate the next day, that's your signal to exit immediately. Don't wait for it to get worse. One more critical point. Sometimes you'll get a wide daily spread on your upside reversal entry. This means if you wait for the stock to break the intraday low, you might be looking at an 8 to 10% loss or more. In these cases, you need to decide if you're comfortable with that larger potential loss, or you will settle with a smaller position, or if you should pass on the trade entirely. Remember, the whole point of pullback trading is to get favorable risk-reward ratios. If your stop loss is so far away that it negates this advantage, then the setup isn't worth taking. Here's how position sizing works in pullback trading. You can use a reverse pyramid when buying pullbacks. Start with the smallest position size and add more as the stock gets closer to a support level. Why? Because the risk decreases as the stock approaches support. For example, if you're buying a pullback to the 50-day moving average and you plan to exit if it closes decisively below that level, your risk is clearly defined. As the stock gets closer to the 50-day, your potential loss gets smaller, so you can afford to add more shares. Never risk more than 1 to 2% of your account on any single pullback trade, and always know your maximum position size before you start buying. Do not make it up as you go. Let me share the biggest mistakes I see traders make with pullback trading. Mistake number 1. Buying pullbacks in weak market conditions. This strategy only works in bull markets. Don't try to catch falling knives when the overall market is declining. Mistake number 2. Buying pullbacks in stocks without conviction. If you don't understand why a stock should go higher, don't buy it just because it's pulling back. Mistake number 3. Not being patient enough. True pullbacks take time to develop. Don't jump in after a 5% decline and call it a pullback trade. Mistake number 4. Position sizing too aggressively, too early. Start small and build your position as risk decreases. Mistake number 5. Not having a clear exit strategy. Always know where you'll cut your losses before you enter the trade. Here are a few examples of how you could have gotten on some massive moves in winning stocks. In this daily chart of Palantir Technologies, the stock displayed tremendous strength from this low to this high. It went up almost 4 times. It then retracted back to the 50-day moving average, stayed there for a couple of days, and moved back up. In this case, the 50 DMA support was confirmed, and an entry here at $68 could have given a trade with a 7% stop loss. The stock went up 83% in 4 weeks before stopping its advance. Though an exit at highs wouldn't have been possible, you could have easily got a 1 to 4 risk to reward in this trade. On the 21-day EMA, Palantir gave 2 more entry points with even better risk-to-reward ratios. In Zoom's humongous move in 2020, the stock touched the 21-day EMA several times and delivered great trades once the pullback was confirmed, as it reclaimed and started trading above the 21-day EMA. Here's the bottom line. Pullback trading isn't about trying to time the exact bottom. It's about buying quality stocks at temporary sell-offs when the risk-reward ratio is heavily in your favor. Remember, the goal isn't to catch every pullback perfectly. The goal is to put the odds in your favor by buying strength at temporary moments of weakness. The most successful traders understand that making money in the markets isn't about being right all the time. It's about being right more often than you're wrong, and making more when you're right than you lose when you're wrong. Pullback trading, when done correctly, gives you exactly that edge. Start practicing this strategy with small position sizes. Study how your watchlist stocks behave during pullbacks, and most importantly, be patient. The best opportunities come to those who wait for the right setup. As always, thanks for watching.